Good evening, guys, and happy Saturday to all of your sunshiny faces. So I don't have any grocery hauls for you guys today because we were very busy today. We had, well, I guess not super busy, but Matthew was coming home today. My dad and Jack had football practice, or like I thought my dad said that the football players weren't supposed to be coming in, but then I thought he said that they did, and I don't know. So, and he was like, oh, we should be home earlier, but then they weren't, and I thought I heard that they did have the kids come in or something like that. But a lot of times on Saturday mornings they do like film and like that kind of stuff, so I kind of assumed that that was what they were doing, but then like, and that's what I heard. I thought they said, oh, we are going over film with the kids or something like that, and I was like, I thought you said they weren't going to be in school. So again, I have no clue if they actually were or weren't, but they were gone until like about noon or 1 o'clock. And then sometime after that, Matthew ended up coming home maybe around 2 o'clock or something like that. Then, or maybe 1 o'clock. Then my dad went upstairs, worked for a little while because it was a little bit nicer out today. It was actually fairly chilly. I don't want to say cold chilly, but like it was like very nice out today. And it was a little breezy. Like I think from here on out, I think it's only supposed to be in about the 70s, which is nice after having those 100 and whatever degree days. It's like, it's not going to stay in like, oh, the high 80s and like that kind of stuff. You know, we're going to be closer to being in the 70s, which is nice, and cool down after all of that, because like I need to get some gardening done, and I was thinking about trying to do that last week, but when I saw, oh, it's going to be 102 degrees on one of those days, which I think the actual like temperature wasn't that high, but like the real feel or whatever with the humidity or the heat index or whatever, we were like over 100 degrees. Like I thought it was like 110 or 20 or 15 or something like that. I don't know. All I know is that it was very hot those on Wednesday and Thursday, and humid. So like I said, it was much nicer out today, but about 4 o'clock then they had a food festival in town with like tons of food trucks and like booths and like all that kind of thing, which was like really cool. So they did it like in our downtown area, which is kind of funny because it probably, we're only like a couple blocks away. Like we had to, well, my dad had to park a couple blocks away. He dropped me and my mom off, and then he parked, and like I said, parking was like probably 2 or 3 blocks away from where you know, like the festival was. And then it was like, but I was like, honestly, it's probably like maybe 4 or 5 blocks actually from our house. So I was like, we could have probably just parked further down the street and then like walked. It would have been close to the same distance. So anyways, though, we ended up going there. It was like so really cool. They had probably at least, I think it was, I want to say it was over 20 vendors, which is also really awesome. They had the first thing we got when we went there was we tried some of the, they had like more spicy kind of food, but they did have like cheese fries, and then they had some other type of fries that were like spicy. I think they were actually called gangster fries, but they were like a spicy, like they had what's it called, like sriracha sauce on it. It had, I think, ranch, my mom was saying, like bacon, cheese, like that kind of stuff on there. Apparently they were really good. I didn't have them because I had the bacon on them, but the cheese fries were really good. And then my dad got some type of burger from there as well. And then my mom got cotton candy that was in the like booth next to it. And then we ended up getting they had like lots of things too, like desserts and like, again, too, all different kinds of foods. While we were eating that, then my mom went and got herself like a taco from, they had probably at least 2 or maybe 3 taco trucks. And then they also had like pierogies. They had like a churro place. They had like one place that was just kind of like like burgers and like that kind of stuff. And then the other place that we went, which because Matthew and Jack stayed back, they didn't really want to go, and then they didn't really want to, like, Matthew and, well, I guess both of them were pretty tired. Jack actually took a nap while we were gone, and then they also stayed back so they could stay with the dogs too. But we ended up just getting pizzas too, because they had 2 different places that actually had pizzas. So we ended up getting pizza from one of the places, and we got 3 cheese pizzas, and then I was eating one of them then on like well, once we got back home, and Matthew and Jack had the other 2 pizzas as well. And I want to say too, they also had like a shrimp place. It was like Hawaiian food, but they had like coconut shrimp and like a couple other different kinds of shrimp and stuff like that. They also had like a caricaturist and a like balloon like animal kind of like person, or like balloon artist. They had like face painting. They had like somebody on stilts was doing like stuff too. They had like more like kids entertainment kind of, and then they also had live music too, which was really cool. I think they had 3 different bands over the time that it was open, between 4 and 8 o'clock. So it was only open for like 4 hours, but it was like wall to wall people. It was so packed, which is really awesome. But they also had like seating, like all that kind of stuff too, like along the street. But it spanned about 2 blocks close to it. I think it was probably a little over a block and a half, but then too, like down one of the streets is where they had like the like live music. So it was like, it went like down kind of the main street, and then like, but like off of that they had the like music set up in that area. Like I think they had like a beer tent, like beer garden kind of thing too. And so they had like a lot of different stuff, you know, there, which was really cool. They actually had last week our park, I think it was our park district, which this was hosted, I think, by the like the, you know, city or whatever, but the park district did something last week that was like a taco truck thing at our park, and they've done this, I want to say at least maybe 2 years or 3 years, something like that now. I think probably 2 years, because I don't think they would have been able to have done it like over like the COVID year in 2020, but they've done it where like they'll do like a golden, I think it's a golden taco, and like the best taco truck ends up winning it or something like that. Although I was like trying to look, I couldn't figure out who won it this year. And then they also did like, that's more I think geared towards like kids kind of, because they had a lot more like kids activities. Like I think they had a petting zoo, but then they also had live music. We didn't end up going last weekend though, but they had like live music and like that kind of stuff too, but it was hosted at the park. So like I said, I think that's the park district. And then the other, like I said, events was the food festival that was in town, hosted, like I said, I think by the city. The following week they have a Mexican Independence Day like celebration kind of thing too, that I want to say they used to do a parade a long time ago. I'm not sure if they're still doing that, but I think that's also hosted in pretty much the same place, the same thing that they did this weekend again as well, and they're doing like kind of like a festival kind of thing for that. So there was things going on for like 3 weekends in a row here, and all like right within our area. Like the taco truck stuff was like 2 blocks in one direction last week, and the other stuff, like I said, was probably like 4, maybe 5 blocks at most the other direction this week. And like I said, I think that that's going to be in the same spots like as next week as well. So again, it was really fun that, like I said, we got to go and we got to experience kind of that, and just like the thing that I thought was kind of cool too was it seemed like there was a lot of like out of towners, I guess, because I didn't recognize a lot of people. Like there was like a few people that I was kind of like I saw there was the mayor was there. There was it's funny, one of my old like math teachers I saw there, and then like my mom said she recognized a couple of people, like but there wasn't a lot. Like, I mean, as many people as came out, I didn't really recognize hardly anybody. And there was a lot of people too, because we were sitting at one of the seats. It was funny, we would listen to people like walking by, and we're sitting out in front of our town's museum, and like people were walking by and they were like, oh look, we didn't even know like they had a museum like in, you know, like in this town or whatever, like alluding to the fact that like they weren't from here. Like this is what we got from like what they were saying. And so my dad was like, I feel like they're probably not from around here. So, and we heard a lot of people saying that, or they'd be like, oh look, like, and looking at like the buildings and stuff like that, they'd be like, oh, what's this, or you know, what's that, and stuff like that. As far as like the downtown, you know, like the buildings and like what stores were kind of in there and stuff like that. And so that made me think that like, yeah, you probably didn't know what was around here if, you know, again, you weren't really from our area or from our town and stuff like that. Whereas if you're local, you probably have been down like our main street and have seen all of our little, you know, small business kind of stuff that's down there. So I thought that was really cool though, that it brought in a lot of people from a lot of other areas to come to this festival. festival, which I think is, like I said, really awesome. And again too, there was just so many like food trucks and that kind of stuff, and you know, everything, like it was, you know, fun, like street food kind of stuff and all that. So I thought it was a really, like I said, fun experience to get to go and do that today. But we were supposed to go out for my mom's birthday dinner. Actually, we're gonna do it today, I think, but then because of the food festival, we were like, well, if we really fill up on food, we don't. And because again too, it didn't start till 4 o'clock, it wasn't like we could be like, oh, we'll go for lunch and then we'll go for dinner later. And so we're gonna move that to next weekend, because then the other thing that we were gonna try and flip-flop was, we were like, well, then why don't we do the movie on Saturday and or like the movie on Sunday, but it's supposed to be National Cinema Day, I think, on Sunday. And like both of the local movie theaters to us that we would go to are doing like $4 movie tickets, and it's probably going to be insanely packed, and we were like, let's try not do that. But our local movie theater actually does $5 movie tickets on Tuesdays, and so the idea is, well, we'll pay $1 extra compared to what it would have cost on Sunday, and just go on Tuesday when there's probably a lot less people. Because I heard people, even when we went to Meijer yesterday, I heard them talking about it. They were like, oh yeah, like you know, they have the $4 movie tickets on Sunday and like stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I feel like it's gonna be pretty packed. Like there was a lot of people talking about it that I've overheard in the last like couple days even too. So like I said, I think that we're gonna move all of that stuff to, like, again, Tuesday and then next weekend to go to my mom's out for her birthday dinner. But you know, this is kind of a little way to celebrate it, which I think was kind of fun too, and going and doing the food festival, which, like I said, was fun. And you know, again too, it was just cool to be out there and kind of get to experience that, because like we didn't, I know they had it last year, and I think it was a lot smaller last year and there weren't as many people, but we didn't end up getting to go to that last year. So like I said, being able to go this year, I think was, like I said, a really awesome experience. And so then we ended up just kind of watching like movies and things like that this afternoon. And so and Matthew, and again, Jack took a nap earlier, but Matthew, it was tired too, so he kind of went to bed early, and so did my dad, because Jack and him have football practice, or like just a meeting. I think it's like a half-an-hour meeting that they have to do, like a Zoom call meeting in the morning. So other than that, there's not much going on tomorrow. I think we're going to try and do breakfast on the Blackstone. And then I think I'm going to have a jewel haul for you guys though on Monday, and my dad's doing Tony's and Caputo's tomorrow, I think is how that all is going to happen. So anyways though, I will share with you guys whenever I do have a haul. But if you guys did enjoy today's vlog, make sure you guys give the gold thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.